looking out over the Butte Creek Ridge on the Skyway between Paradise, California and Chico. This watershed is over 500,000 acres, and Butte Creek way down there provides a lot of electricity. It's known as the Little Grand Canyon around here. I took a road trip today up to Paradise. It's about 45 minutes northeast of my home. Paradise, of course, infamous for the campfire that burned through it in November 2018 for over 2.5 weeks, destroyed the town. And I hadn't been back since the fire, so I went and looked at it today. Sorry for all the noise you're hearing. I'm right off the road at Lookout Point. It was interesting going through the town. It was bittersweet, but yet hopeful. The town had about 27,000 in population when the fire ripped through it, destroyed 95% of it. Today, 2 years later, it has about 1,000 people living there. And homes are being rebuilt, and it's hopeful. There are trees standing that are burned completely. There are many burned logs on the side of the road waiting for removal. There are trees that are half burned and half alive, and then there are trees and a few buildings here and there that escaped altogether. And then new construction and workers everywhere. It's definitely alive, and I think it'll come back. And the people that are there that have stayed or come back or have moved there, the few that have done that, they're strong people, so I do think it will come back. Got a big scare this past summer, though, I know, because there was another fire, the huge North Complex fire that, it was only 14 miles away at one point from them by air over in Butte Creek to the southeast of Paradise. And Butte Creek, well, that's where my daughter's oncology camp is, and it burned. All of Butte Creek burned. That was a much smaller place, and it took it out completely. So that scared the people in Paradise, of course, seeing that fire on the horizon. Thankfully that fire was stopped before it got to either Paradise or to the neighboring town of Oroville. But I do find it so interesting, the resilience of people, and it just makes me think about how life goes on, and we choose, what we're going to do with our lives and how we're going to respond to obstacles and challenges. It's funny, I came on this road trip today because I was just itching for one. I love road trips. Love the freedom of driving, just adventuring. But, I thought coming to Paradise and across the ridge would be just sort of cathartic, and it has been. Look at that view. This is to the west. It's a very overcast day, which I'm not a fan of. But just being outside in this air, it's about 45 degrees Fahrenheit. This air is so refreshing, and just sort of clears the mind, despite all the traffic going by on the ridge. I suppose you can let yourself be ruled, or at least heavily influenced, by fear, too much caution, overthinking, or you can take the bull by its horns and you can go with adventure. Go with taking on the new challenge. Go with finding a new route in life, a new plan, or maybe no plan. Now I'm about 20-25 minutes southwest of my home. I was going to go out to Black Butte Lake, Black Butte campgrounds, but they're closed due to COVID. So just been enjoying the drive out here. Not nearly as much traffic. In fact, hardly any traffic. Just cows. It's a distant sound of mooing and the distant sound of tractors. Definitely a fire burned through this road at some point in the past, because as I drove much farther west, like 5 or 6 miles more, I came across a lot of very dead and burned out oaks. And there was at least one farmer out in his field burning dead oak that had been cut down. It's a good day for burning. This is one of the only places I can recall in Northern California, near where I live, that doesn't have any trees. Very, very small area, but beautiful in the setting sun. Oh my goodness, look at these dairy cows and baby calves. Look at them. And a pretty glorious sunset going down on this really overcast day. The cow's like, what are you doing? It's a dairy farm here. Aww. It's pretty peaceful. They're gathered under the sycamore tree. And that's the coastal range over there. And behind that sycamore, you can see in the distance an orchard of some kind. There's orchards all up and down the Central Valley. I just feel so connected to nature. I've really missed getting out on road trips. Even if it's just to drive in the countryside and pull over now and then. Hello! Hello, Kath! Are you curious about me? You're sure a cutie. I've never thought of cows as particularly cute, but these are. And we're back home again. It's a pretty sight, but I'm sure glad I had an afternoon away. It was refreshing and inspiring in many ways. So I highly recommend a road trip when you're feeling a bit down to pick you right up again. Nature really is the best therapy, whether it's flowers, vegetable gardening, or getting outside, out on the road, seeing something different, mountains, cows. Just something to spark your imagination and fill your mind and your senses. Fresh air, fresh ideas, a fresh perspective. Sometimes we all need one of those, and I know I did today. So thanks for joining me on my short little road trip. I'll be seeing you again real soon in the garden or the orchard. And until then, stay safe and also take a road trip. Pretty sure you'll enjoy it.